I'm going to start with a little bit of basics. How exactly do companies actually connect with their customers, right? How do we actually connect with customers? Before we begin to develop a unified view, we need to understand how do we engage with them. So I've put forth a little diagram here. It's typically across three functions. You have marketing, sales, and support. And if you look at how this thing has evolved, you've got marketing, which is focused on reach, and the primary focus of marketing is generating leads. Sales, which actually preceded marketing in terms of how technology came to play, is focused on revenue generation. And then, of course, you have support, which is focused on customer satisfaction, retention, and so on. So if you look at the evolution of technology here, so these are the functions that exist in any organization. And you connect with people in some organizations that are small enough, maybe some of you fit here. You have the same people maybe doing 2 or more of these. And in many organizations, the larger ones, as you grow, you tend to specialize for a number of reasons, not the least of which is to do with people's skills. So that's how most companies connect. And each of these functions does similar things. So if you look at any business process, and you look at how it's being automated, you're really dealing with the same few things. You're dealing with fundamentally automating an underlying process. So that process could be marketing, sales, merchandising, inventory management, whatever, right? So there's a process management, a process automation aspect to it, of any software. And then you have people who actually do this stuff, right? So you're going to connect the people, allow them to work together, allow them to undertake that process. And then, of course, this mechanism then generates data. So you generate the data, you manage it, and you use software to enable these 3 things. So this is how any piece of business software is orchestrated, right? So what's happened is, given how these functions have evolved, they've developed differently. So each has established its model of how it does processes, how it connects people, and how it manages the underlying data. So you'd hear the word silos a lot. So that's what's happened. These functions wind up not talking to each other, and ultimately that's the view the customer gets. It happens to us too. The customer gets that kind of disjointed view. They call somebody, they talk, marketing is one view, and you're somewhere in their queue of things, and you talk to somebody in support and they have no clue what's going on, what marketing told you, or what sales told you, right? So that's the fundamental issue when you adopt your software in the manner it actually evolved, which is really marketing first, which is really sales first, and then support software, and then marketing software, if you look at the history of how these things evolved. Now, as a consequence, the things you don't want to happen actually happen, and you have to deal with it. So you're doing a bunch of patchwork, you're trying to connect these 3 things together. So what we actually want to happen here is to get these functions to connect together. So you understand the problems you have when you take a siloed view of the whole thing, right? So let me just try and pick up some speed because I'm losing your time. And so this is how things work today. And what we're trying to do is put it all integrated. So a nice little picture here. But what that means is those boundaries don't exist. The people who work across these functions are connected to each other. So there's something specific we mean more than a pretty diagram. It means those processes that earlier used to be confined within those silos are now connected. So when you look over the next few days, when you look at one of our products, our CRM Plus product, that's what you should look for. We should look for these 3 things. Are there processes that are connected across business functions? Are people actually able to communicate and collaborate with people in the other functions? Do you have the benefit of data from one of the other functions? For example, you're a support person and you're addressing a customer need. Do you have the available data from the sales team available to you right there on your desk? In other words, is the data connected? So that's what you should look for, and that's what a unified version of the look of the customer means. And that's the CRM Plus product that we'll introduce, that we'll go through over the course of the day. This is a little schematic that explains that for you. And give you a little story of how it might look if these things work together. And I'm going to start with it's kind of like a play. So we'll start with the main cast here. And you have a volleyball coach. Her name is Tanya. And she runs a team for 14s. Clearly she has, you know, who her icon is, or who her hero is. So this is the team she runs, and she's looking to work with a sports equipment company, particularly a company that does uniforms, equipment, and so on. Okay, so that's this team of guys, and they represent a company called Mavericks Design, and it's the greatest sports design in the company in the world. So the supporting cast, of course, is a bunch of Zoho apps. If I don't have this, I wouldn't have my job. So we've got to have, these are the Zoho apps that collectively form the CRM suite. So let's pick up the story over here and see how these things work together in unison to deliver that unified view. So watch for the things I'm saying. Watch for the processes, watch for the people, and watch for the data, and see how it connects across all of these. Okay, so Mavericks has this website. They do uniforms, they do sports equipment. This is their site here, and that's a quick introduction. So there's a market on the top, Sarah, and since this being an election year, we're going to put labels on people, so she's very assiduous, not necessarily corrupt. And she uses Zoho Social. So she uses Social, and that's a screenshot from Social. It's just representative to show you. So this is some campaign that has formally been run, and you can see these are the stats of the campaign. This is actually a social campaign that she ran through Zoho Social, and this is how it might look. So she goes and she uses Zoho Social. This is a prior campaign. Of course, everything looks good. All the bars are rising to the right. You'd never know that the economy was amiss in any way. And she decides to run a Twitter campaign. So she puts something together. She knows it's a volleyball season. She puts something like this out. Okay, there's a little. So look at the elements of it. It's simple. There's a hashtag, and of course there's a short link. So she runs this campaign. Now there's a coach who's sitting around, and of course she's got all these standards, so she's really exacting on her charges. She's been looking for volleyball search tags, and catches this tweet. So she finds that short link, comes to the site. So what are we seeing here? A social marketing example, a campaign that got originated using a social channel, right? Now the coach comes back to the website. She's looks at this, a lot of stuff out there. She wants to get answers quickly. And so she finds that little chat button at the bottom right. So you see there's a chat button. She goes on that. She opens up a chat dialog. And then we have a sales rep, Mark. You know, what else can a sales rep be, right? So he's there. You know, this sales rep. His life is cool because of CRM Plus and everything connected. Stuff comes to him. He's just an order taker. So he's sitting there eating a big ham sandwich, and this thing comes in. All right, and so he drops that and then pounces on the keyboard because that's all he does. He's an order taker and gets commissions. So good life. So he jumps in on this chat, and he responds to her. So now we're using Zoho Sales Iq. So if you want to, as you follow my presentation, look at the top left-hand corner. That tells you the product that I'm using within the suite. So the first one you saw was Zoho Social, which was the way the Twitter campaign was launched. And now you're looking at something called Sales IQ, which is a product that is integrated with the website. So when the person comes in, the chat actually is part of Zoho Sales IQ. So here you go. There's a little conversation going on. She wants an extended kit and whatever. So he's of course pushy. He wants to know when he can get the order. Mr. Order Taker, do some work. And she actually wants to check out some things. So you can see that. Now, notice the screen. This is Zoho Sales IQ. There's a conversation in the middle. And on the right-hand side, there is some information about Tanya. And that could, this could pull stuff from Twitter. It could pull stuff from anywhere. So it could enrich in that experience and give you the background of the person you're talking to. If you're talking to them not the first time, at some time later, then some of the prior information could also be on the screen. So you have some context when you're talking to this person. You know something about them. How many times have you been on a call and you talk to someone and you're trying to dial in and find out something more about them? Right? I do it all the time. In fact, I have 2 devices just to do that. So that's what happens. So you go to Sales IQ, a conversation has started. It's a chat. And here's the cool integration part. Now, Sales IQ automatically decides to capture this and put this into CRM. So that's the next screen. So this is CRM, top left-hand corner. That's our CRM symbol. So here's the entry. That's Tanya's. It's already created a record for Tanya. You can see that there was the information about this chat, and there is actually the chat record. So it's over there for posterity. So if you come back to, if your salesperson were to see it, they would know what happened. The chat is right there. So it's all preserved. You did nothing. So Mark actually did nothing. No wonder he's collecting orders. He's just an order taker, right? So he did nothing. He's got the chat history here. So now what happens? A couple of weeks go by. There's been an initial connect with the customer, and our diligent marketer, Sarah's planning what they call a retargeting campaign. So typically what happens is you've got some interest from some people, you accumulate that over time, and then you go and you retarget them, and you find out if you can help them out, just to get back into their mindset. So of course she has to pick a Zoho product, otherwise she wouldn't be in my story. So she actually she picks Zoho Campaigns. So now I'm introducing a third product, right? So Zoho Campaigns is an email campaigning platform. You can see this is the result of a campaign, so it tells you 22 emails sent and so on. So this is the kind of stuff that you would get if you had sent a campaign. You come into this report, you can see statistics like how many were delivered, how many were opened, the kinds of typical details that you look for to understand the effectiveness of an email campaign. Okay, so let's continue with the story. Now the campaign actually, what does it do? It's a retargeting campaign, right? So Sarah has come up with something. She knows it's volleyball season. She puts they have a special. It's called the summer spiker sale and so on. You can see it, right? So the coach, is in a position to buy because of the recent inquiry. So she sees this, and that there's a good likelihood that people like her would actually check this out. So there you go. She goes to the website. There's a promotion on the website. She already knows about the product. She knows what she wants. And she's already talked to the sales guy before to find out that they have everything they want. She goes to the site and takes the opportunity to place an order. So the order is done. Now what happens? And we are back to the CRM, top left-hand corner, right? So we've got now a deal that is done, and it's captured right here in the CRM. So you have a chat history, and you have the deal history. So this is the amount of money that they spent. Now imagine, now see the value of this. It's not all in my story here. If a support person later were to deal with Tanya, they would know that this person has spent, $3,800, right? And so that changes the kind of attention you would give that customer. So that's the kind of value of bringing in pertinent information right at the point when you have the customer engagement. So back to this story, sale is captured here. So after the sale, there's a reason why she's called assiduous. So she sends out a survey and to understand the buying experience. So, of course, she uses a product called Zoho Survey. Let's go take a look at that. So that's a survey screen. The top left-hand corner is a survey icon. And this is a product that allows you to quickly create a survey. So she sets this thing up, puts the survey together, sends it back to Tanya. Tanya, of course, can get it. She's at the court. I need some elements to my story, so she's beating up on her kids. And then she gets the survey, picks it up on a mobile. The point is that all of these apps are available on mobile too. And this is a bit of a contrived way for me to tell you that. So she gets on her mobile. She's able to respond to the survey, and it gets back. So month goes by. The deal is done. Well, Sarah's not done yet, right? She's a marketing person looking for more things to do. And she realizes that there's some other things she can do. Here's some customers who bought stuff with me. Maybe there are other things that is of interest to them. So she goes back to Zoho Campaigns and starts up a new campaign here. And what's this about? So this campaign introduces a new product, customized Kneepads. And the idea here was you could upload your logo. By the way, there isn't a product like this. This is a mock-up, okay? There isn't a product like this because my daughter wanted it. So there's so she decides to shop, pick this up for her team, back at the website. Now you see the website is the company has managed the website. They've got this as a promotion now. So what are they doing? They're tying all their assets to their marketing initiatives, right? So the other campaign went out, the website had the campaign on top. So here you go. You have a special going out and your customers are seeing it. Make sure that the content reflects that when people come back. of course, Mark is now on his third ham sandwich, and he notices Tanya on the site. So he decides, so this is again Zoho Sales Iq. That's the logo on the top left. So here, this is a way to actually track your visitors that come to your website. That's essentially what Zoho Sales IQ does within the context of what you know about them. So because you've dealt with this customer before, when this customer comes in, you actually see that. So he closes the deal with a chat. He knows who she is. He's dealt with her before, so he does it. Now, Coach Tanya gets her shipment, and now she's missing something. Something was off. Instead of 3 mediums, she got 3 smalls or whatever, or the other way around. And so she logs into the Mavericks customer portal. Now, this is an idea of, now we're going into the Zoho Support product. And Zoho Support is, of course, a customer support product. So essentially, like all customer support products, it allows you to take issues, book tickets against them, and resolve them, right? That's fundamentally what any customer support product does. What's also interesting is Zoho Desk has a notion of a customer portal. So a customer can log into the portal and submit their issue. So standardized forms. So it allows you to standardize things. It allows you to queue things and so on. So that's what she does here. She goes to that portal and posts a ticket. So this is a screenshot of the portal, top left-hand corner, Zoho Support. So she puts in her things and says whatever issues. Now we have an agent. Clearly, this company is doing so well that he doesn't have too much work. He's pretty sluggish here. So he's using Zoho Support. He resolves the issue. So you can see he's responded back. And he says he's going to, so this is the email transcript within the Zoho Support product. Because remember, she's in the portal, so you can communicate with her right on the portal itself, right? So he's communicated with her. Meanwhile, notice that he's got information about her on the right, on what he wants to do. He can assign it, he can set due dates and so on, to involve other people. He can even talk to the sales or marketing guy and let them know that this is what's happened with your customer. So the coach is now happy. She's hopefully what everybody dies to get is some sort of customer affirmation. So she put something up on Twitter. So I'm reaching the end of my story here. So as usual, everybody's happy. It's a good story. People get promoted and so on. And some people still continue to have their cushy jobs. So that's a view of how this all of this comes together. And this was the idea when we put all these apps together into one framework that we call CRM Plus. The idea to provide a suite of apps that are well connected together and give you a unified view of the customer. And if you see how this thing is evolving, if you look at the history of this, the sales part came first, right? So that technology was about late 80s or so. And I mean, not cloud, before the cloud, right? And then the marketing technology was more late 80s, 90s was sales technology, CRM, which was previously called SFA, Salesforce Automation. And marketing came sometime after that, maybe late 90s, more in the 2000s. Support, again, 90s. And they've all evolved separately. So if you as a customer trying to make a purchasing decision, it's difficult. Because you pick one of these things, you got to make sure it works with something else. And you've literally got a plethora of choice. There are 3,500 marketing technology companies. And so what we've done is pull this together, pick the core elements of what people use, email marketing, website analytics, tie the main things together, focus less on the esoteric for now, and provide it together. Now, if you see where support will evolve, it is also evolving. Support is becoming more, going more in the direction of what people call customer success. So it's no longer just support, it's loyalty, it's account management, it's retention. That's what's the right side is evolving. And you'll see over the course of the next 2 days how the middle part is evolving in terms of moving and connecting towards the other functions. Thank you.